Right now, 8 billion people are doing something: walking, driving, sleeping, arguing online. Now imagine that at exactly noon, all of them vanish. Every single one. Nobody died. No bodies, no goodbye note. Just 8 billion people deleted from the planet for exactly 24 hours, and then put back. Here's the thesis of this whole video. Civilization is not a machine that runs by itself. It's a machine that requires constant human babysitting. Take the babysitter away for one day. Second one. At any moment, there are roughly 10,000 aircraft in the sky, carrying around 1 million people. Pilots included, all gone. The planes don't drop instantly. Autopilot keeps flying them perfectly calmly to their destination. Then it reaches the airport and waits for a human to land it. Nobody lands it, so each plane flies until the fuel runs out, then glides down into whatever happens to be underneath. Fields, oceans, occasionally cities. On the ground, tens of millions of cars are in motion. Some drift into ditches, some drift into each other. Highways become slow-motion pileups with nobody inside them. Trains keep rolling until automatic brakes catch them. Ships keep their heading until they run aground. 50,000 cargo vessels start very slowly redecorating the world's coastlines. Then about a minute in, something no human has ever heard happens. The planet goes quiet. No voices, no engines, no footsteps. Just machines running, talking to nobody. Now the interesting part, the power grid. A grid has to match supply and demand every second of every day. Generation in, consumption out, balanced on a knife edge. When everyone vanishes, demand doesn't vanish with them. Lights stay on. Air conditioners keep running. Ovens keep baking dinner that nobody will eat. But demand does start swinging wildly as things trip off and the grid's frequency drifts. Grids run at 50 or 60 hertz. Drift too far, and protection relays start disconnecting everything. Nuclear plants are actually the responsible adults here. Lose the grid connection, and they automatically scram, dropping control rods in seconds, then cool themselves on diesel generators. Gas turbines trip, coal plants trip. Each trip unbalances the grid further, which trips more plants. This is a cascading blackout, and it takes hours, not days. So by hour 1 to 6, depending on where you are, most of the planet is dark. The lights of civilization go out region by region, like someone walking through a house flipping switches. Not everything dies. Hospitals, data centers, and airports have diesel generators with hours to days of fuel. Cell towers have batteries good for maybe 4 to 8 hours, which means the internet mostly survives day one. Servers are humming, videos are streaming, your group chat is technically still online. There's simply nobody left to type in it. Water is next, and water is worse than you think. Modern tap water is pumped. Electric pumps push it up towers and through pipes to keep pressure. Power dies, pumps die, pressure dies. High-rise apartments lose water almost immediately. Everyone else gets whatever's left in the pipes, which is not much. Sewage runs on pumps too. Lift stations stop lifting, and the stuff we spent a century engineering away from us begins its journey back into basements and streets. Here's the genuinely grim part. There are tens of billions of animals in industrial farms, and many depend on electric ventilation fans to not overheat inside sealed barns. And then there are roughly 1 billion pets, behind roughly 1 billion closed doors, waiting for someone who is temporarily nowhere. 24 hours is survivable for most of them. Barely. Meanwhile, cooking. Somewhere in the world, millions of stoves are lit. Pans burn dry, oil ignites, curtains catch, and the entire global fire service has taken the day off. No fire trucks, no sprinkler refills once the water pressure dies. A kitchen fire becomes a building fire, becomes a block fire. Cities lose whole neighborhoods to nobody's fault. Refineries and chemical plants, though, are surprisingly well behaved. They're built with automatic safety systems that assume humans will eventually do something stupid, lose power or lose control, and they shut themselves down. So mostly you get giant flares burning off pressure, a few nasty leaks, and a small number of very bad days at very specific factories, not a global chemical apocalypse. Dams hold. Their spillway gates are designed to fail safe, and concrete does not require supervision. Hydro plants disconnect and sit there, still perfectly capable of generating. Every traffic light in the world goes dark, which, for the first time in a century, changes absolutely nothing. On the night side of Earth, something beautiful happens. Light pollution collapses. For the first time in generations, the Milky Way is visible over Tokyo, London, and Sao Paulo. Nobody sees it. The best night sky in 200 years, and the audience is out of the building. Animals notice fast. During the 2020 lockdowns, wildlife moved into empty streets within days. Take away every human at once, and deer, boars, and coyotes are downtown before dinner. Roadkill drops to zero. Birds stop hitting windows because there are no lights and no traffic. For one day, being an animal on this planet gets dramatically safer. Emissions crater. Cars, planes, and most power plants stop. Global carbon output for that day falls off a cliff. Effect on the climate, essentially zero. One day is a rounding error. Air quality, though, you would actually see. Smog thins measurably within hours. During lockdowns, nitrogen dioxide over big cities dropped by 20 to 30%. Empty skies are clean skies. Hour 12. Refrigeration is dead. Supermarkets, warehouses, and shipping containers full of food begin quietly rotting. Enough food for billions of people starts turning into garbage. Financial markets simply freeze. No trades, no orders, no panic selling, because panic requires a person. The global economy holds its breath for a day. Space keeps working. Thousands of satellites keep orbiting. GPS keeps broadcasting time signals. And weather satellites keep photographing an empty planet in high definition. The space station keeps orbiting too, minus its crew, who also vanished. It flies itself in circles for a day, which honestly it does most of the time anyway. On Mars, the rovers keep driving their preloaded routes, sending data home to antennas that nobody is reading. The most patient machines in the solar system doing their job perfectly. Back on Earth, hour 20. Gas networks are still pressurized. Small leaks that a human nose would catch in minutes now sit there for a day, filling rooms, waiting for a spark. So here's the planet at hour 23:59. Dark, silent, partly on fire, partly flooded, partly underwater, full of animals, and objectively the cleanest air in modern history. Then, at exactly noon, everyone comes back, in the same place they left. Which is fine, unless the place you left was seat 31B on a plane that stopped existing 8 hours ago. Everyone else reappears into a world with no power, no water, no traffic lights, and a phone at 2% that will never charge again. Then the screaming starts. And restarting a dead grid is brutal. It's called a black start, and it needs power to make power. Real blackouts have taken days to weeks to fully recover from. Water systems have to be repressurized and disinfected, because empty pipes suck in contamination. Boil water notices everywhere for weeks, in a world where boiling requires power. Realistically, the death toll is in the millions. Aviation, road, fires, and hospital patients who lost 24 hours of machines keeping them alive. Damage in the trillions of dollars. So, quick recap of what one unsupervised day actually does. 1. The grid dies within hours because nobody's there to keep supply and demand balanced. 2. Water and sewage stop because both are just electricity pretending to be plumbing. 3. Fires and crashes do most of the killing because they only need one unattended minute. 4. The scary stuff, nuclear plants, dams, refineries, mostly saves itself. We actually engineered that part well. 5. Nature has the best day it's had in centuries, and the atmosphere barely notices. The plain answer: Earth would be completely fine. The natural world would improve. Civilization would take a beating it needs weeks to recover from, and millions of people would not come back from it. Because the world isn't held up by concrete and code. It's held up by a few million people quietly doing unglamorous jobs at 3 in the morning so that your tap works.